bachelor's degrees and master's degrees and PhDs, but we can't answer the simple question, what is education? Education, we are told by that great black man who started the Black History Month, Dr. Carter G. Woodson, wrote the book in 1933, Miseducation of the Negro. Is that right? And in that book, he said that education is not the mirror imparting of knowledge. Above all, the education must result in a person doing and acting on the best interests and on behalf of themselves. Is that right? So let's look at us. See, in order for us to become better, in order for our children to become better, in order for them to do something greater than what we have done as adults, we have to be able to give them something in terms of knowledge and in terms of education that is superior to what we have been given.
That's right.
I want you to listen to me carefully. And I want you young people to put your cell phones down or whatever you have with a child and just listen to me for 5 or 10 minutes and let us as children and us as adults, since we're all in the classroom of God, let's see can we learn something today that will make us better. When we look at the condition of black America, our sister came up and told you about the age rates in the black American community skyrocketing. Our brother talked about here in this town where you have a majority African American population where they have a drug epidemic. He also talked about prison. And in the state of Arkansas, we represent only 12% of the population in Arkansas, but in certain cases, we are 50, 60, 70% in the prison. What has happened? That our brother, Dr. Martin Luther King, would go out and fight and die and get dogs sicked on him and get hoses, and our brothers got beat in the head in the 40s, 50s, and 60s for educational development for our people. But today, most of our people who are graduating high school have graduated functioning illiterate. We have some challenges. So I'm not here to sell you the basic idea of going to the school system for 12 years and getting that type of education, or going to college and spending thousands and thousands of dollars on that type of education, and you're leaving the college without a job, but you have $20, $30, $40, $50,000 worth of debt. So I'm not here to promote that type of education. I haven't bit that Kool-Aid. I'm not drinking that type of Kool-Aid. But what I want you all to start to think in terms of, I want you all to start to think, what do we need that's outside of the mainstream educational system to give our children that will allow them to leave out of that educational system and not go beg somebody for a job, but have the mind to create a job. Is that right?
That's right.
If we look at the word education, the word education comes from a Latin word, the Latin word educere. And if you look at any, at the etymology or the root of the American language, the word, you can tell what the purpose and the meaning of that word is. Is that right? The word educere means to lead from up under something. Is that right? Right. It also means to give birth. Now what happens when a woman is in the birthing process? She's experiencing what? Pain and pleasure at the same time. So that these young people, when they go to school, they're not experiencing pleasure and pain at the same time. I want you to understand me, because many of us are sending our children to schools every day, and those schools are failing our children. And we don't have the mind that's outside of the wisdom of this world, that mindset that Christ is bringing in, to give our children something that will inoculate them or insulate them from the vices that's going on in the school system today. So you send your son to school. Our young people go to school and they are not sitting right. Little Johnny is moving around too much. So we call little Johnny into the counselor's office, we do a referral, we send him down here to a mental health facility, and now our parents are drugging our children.
That's right.
Huh? See, we have to take the responsibility. Everything that I give the children today, it will go in, they may understand it, they may not. You know why? Because parents have the responsibility of stewarding their children.
That's right.
Right? And you love your child more than a teacher do.
That's right.
Why would you expect them to do more for your children and teach them more than you willing to teach them? Huh? We live in a hell of a world. Dr. Carter G. Woodson wrote it in 1933 in the book Miseducation of the Negro. He said that black people are daily being taught that which they cannot use. That which only fits them, makes them fit to fit into a system that in many cases don't have their best interests at heart. What are you saying? What am I saying? I'm saying it's okay to send your children to the school, but they must have something that's greater and better coming from you. We look at the African American community, we go back to the root, up to the origin, or to the genesis, or to the beginning of our education experience in America. Black folks use the church. The only independent and supposedly free institution we have, they use the church to educate our babies. This is where you get Sunday school.
Right.
Sunday school came out of the reality that in order for black folks to get an education coming out of slavery, we had to go to the church. Because it's the only first institution we built, the only institution we had that was completely independent, so we used the church to educate our people. Now we open the church maybe once or twice a week.
You're saying something, man.
Huh? Maybe twice a week. We haven't got outside. We're still thinking in the old mind. We haven't moved to that new mind that Christ is talking about. Still thinking in the old mind. So our children, they go to school, and in many cases, the teacher don't know how to teach black children.
Amen.
I have traveled all over this city and went to the schools and visited the schools. Teachers have no control. Even if you discipline your child at home, when you send them to school in a classroom and you got 5 children, 10 children that are undisciplined, your child can't get what they need. The mayor has gotten together with some of the school districts in our city, came up with a plan to do a campaign to develop alternative schools. I want to tell you, black men and black women, don't fall in that trap. And the name is going up to 2000s. There were many young black men in the alternative school in this city.
That's right.
If you go and research the history of those who were in the alternative school in this city, most of them got on drugs, got involved in hard crime, went to jail, went to prison, went to an early grave, and even the females
That's right.
who didn't go to prison, who escaped the prostitution game, who escaped all of that. Do you know that now if you talk to them, they are functionally illiterate?
Right.
That they can't help their children with their homework?
Man.
It's a trap.
That's a trend.
Why should we use the same old stuff that ain't work?
That's right.
I was privileged to go to Muhammad Mosque number 45 in Houston, Texas, to participate in a leadership conference. And I met young people who were some of the smartest, some of the wisest people in the country. There was one young sister, because the MUI only goes to the 8th grade, there was a young sister who went into the public educational institution in Houston, coming out of the 8th grade going into the 9th. They did a district-wide math test. I want you to listen to me good. She was the only one to ace the test. Nobody in the district aced the test but this young girl coming out of the MUI. Right? What was different from her and the students who had been in the other school district all that time? It's very simple. It had nothing to do with money. They're talking about we're going to close down Greenville because, you know, we have lost, Pioneer School District lost 1,226 students, right? And now we don't have this funding, so we got to close the school down. The MUI operates on a nickel and dime budget, yet they are producing students that are superior to any school in the state of Arkansas. It's very simple. They have a God-centered based curriculum. Right. Here we are, we say we believe in Jesus.